On the news tonight, federal government warns Nigerians against traveling to northern Cyprus, says nothing can be done for them over there. Police Commission Union declares indefinite strike action. And Shell, Exxon, others to end billion-dollar lawsuits against NNPC. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogorinde. The chairman of the Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri Erewa, has warned Nigerians not to travel to northern Cyprus. Speaking to State House correspondents in Abuja on Thursday, Dabiri Erewa said there is little the federal government can do to diplomatically resolve issues in the territory because northern Cyprus is not recognized by the international community except Turkey. While admitting that this country's insecurity challenge is a source of concern, Dabiri Erewa said the warning was only temporary because of stiff measures currently employed by the federal government to tackle the situation.
Northern Cyprus, because honestly it's been a lot of problem on Northern Cyprus. So we had youth come and tell us, please tell everybody stop going to Northern Cyprus. We did that some time ago and some said, how can you tell people not to go? And I'm saying it again. If you're going to Northern Cyprus, think twice about it. Over 20 students have been killed over the years and nothing happened. So these students came themselves and said they have to embark on awareness that don't go to these places. Northern Cyprus is recognized only by Turkey. It's not a UN recognized nation. So if you run to Nigeria, we can't do much, but our students are being killed on a daily basis and nothing is happening. So again, I'm going to appeal that we need to take a strong decision about places like Northern Cyprus.
Speaking on the evacuation of Nigerians from Libya, Dabiri Erewa said over 10,000 citizens have been evacuated so far, adding that about 2,000 Nigerian students stranded in Ukraine at the start of the conflict have returned home safely.
This is a record President Muhammadu Buhari has made for himself and the administration. For the first time, we've had Nigerians stranded in Libya. They've been stranded for years. So it didn't start under the administration. They've been in detention centers for years. But when President Muhammadu Buhari came, he gave an instruction that every Nigerian stranded in Libya must be brought back. I remember he made that announcement in Togo, no, in Côte d'Ivoire, during one of our town hall meetings when it was raised with him. And President brought back over 10,000 stranded in Libya. We had the IOM, yes. And honestly, that is a feat. And we remember going into detention centers, seeing them as we walked in. They started singing the national anthem because it had never happened before. And everybody was brought back. But get the sad news, they are still going back. Ukraine, again, Mr. President, successfully brought back every Nigerian stranded in Ukraine. And honestly speaking, we thank him for that leadership.
The Joint Union Congress of Police Service Commission has issued a notice of indefinite strike to the management of the commission over a breach of agreement. The union said the strike will commence with effect from Monday, August the 29th, 2022. Chairman of the Joint Service Union PSC Chapter, Adoyi disclosed this in an interview on Thursday. The notice is coming amidst disagreement between workers of the commission, the chairman of the commission, Mr. Liu Smith, and the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, over which body should be responsible for recruitment, promotion, and appointment of constables and officers. He added that the IGP and other police chiefs, in connivance with the chairman of the PSC, have overruled the constitutional duty of the PSC. The Nigerian military has said that its own troops have continued the clearance operation against terrorists and other criminals across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country with varying degrees of successes. Speaking at his first briefing as the new Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Danmadami, confirmed that between the 11th and 25th of August 2022, the troops raided terrorist hideouts and killed several of the enemies. He also explained that following a credible intelligence report, the total value of products denied oil thieves in the South-South zone was worth over 3 billion naira during the period on the focus.
On 13th August 2022, Troops of Guard Brigade raided some suspected terrorist hideout at Dede Abattoir in Abuja Metropolitan Area Council and Dubka Village in Gwagalada Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. During the raid operations, 8 suspected terrorists were arrested, 5 AK-47 rifles and 3 pump-action guns were recovered. Troops of Operation Delta Stave, in the conduct of operations Octopus Grip and Operation Kadar da Barau, conducted several activities in the creeks, villages, communities, and towns. During the operation, troops also recovered and destroyed several illegal refinery sites, which consist of 493 dugout pits, 512 storage tanks, 413 cooking ovens, 25,977 barrels of crude oil, 3,236,130 liters of automotive gas oil. Consequently, a grand total of 3,708,259,308 naira was denied to the oil thieves for the period under review.
Away from security and now to politics, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has flown to the United Kingdom in an attempt to salvage his relationship with Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. Although Atiku has not officially confirmed the rationale for the trip, the Wike factor cannot be ruled out. Atiku's trip comes just hours after Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike held a meeting with the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu in London, the United Kingdom. Attempts by PDP leadership to pacify Wike and his loyalists have so far failed after Atiku overlooked him and picked Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate for the 2023 elections. Now to discuss this further, on the ongoing rift between the two politicians, Adewale Ajadi, political affairs analyst, joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, the rift between Atiku and Wike is coming at a time when the party should be a united front as the 2023 general elections approaches. But with this disagreement, how badly do you think the PDP as a party will be affected?
Well, good evening. Yes, certainly they will be affected because you know that politics, being what it is across geopolitical zones, Wike has been a loyalist of the PDP, perhaps the real champion and hero of restoring the PDP to a viable political party. To lose him at this stage in any way will be very damaging. And plus, it means that the whole section of the South-South might not vote as strongly as the PDP wants it to vote. So it's certainly a challenge. But I think we must not dismiss the fact that for Wike, this is a challenge of political survival. It is not so much about not being selected as the VP, in my view, and I know we're all speculating, but it is certainly something to do with the fact that he's been a governor for 8 years. And now that time is coming to an end. And the party that is supported and he has positioned himself in chooses not to follow its policy of zoning. And then in the time when the election could have been perhaps fair, there was a zonal shift, meaning that a northern candidate with the support of another candidate pulling out became the champion. That might be something that misses our minds, but it's a very powerful move. And that level of neglect or sidelining is about to go to another level if the new candidates choose to continue to ignore his desires. Then that certainly is a power play that would marginalize him. So I mean, one could understand, even if one does not agree, one should understand what he's trying to do.
Now, Wike has repeatedly said that he's a core person, he's a core PDP person. Now, is there any possibility that Wike could defect to the APC now, especially as we've heard reports of Tinubu and Wike having meetings?
That's my point. I mean, what if anybody looks at this strategically, this is really making him irrelevant. I mean, if the candidate goes on in the manner that it seems to be going on, then he's only is not particularly relevant. And if he loses, which is going to happen, he stops being governor, then he loses a great degree of influence. And then the PDP would move on, and he would be just somebody that they consider as perhaps of interest, but not powerful. Whatever the other people who are his supporters are saying, many of them also are going to stop being governors. So that's another thing to consider. So I think that he's going to explore his options. If anything is to be followed, he will explore his options, and that's understandable.
Well, indeed, Adewale Ajadi, political affairs analyst, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Despite air travel being the only means of transportation that has not recorded attacks by terrorists, aviation stakeholders say government must take proactive steps to protect Nigeria's airspace. To this end, the Aviation Roundtable Initiative, ARI, has organized its second 2022 business meeting to deliberate on possible security breaches to air transport and ways to prevent an occurrence. The conference held in Lagos saw members of ART call on the government to enhance multi-layer security measures to avoid an even greater crisis in the sector. Our correspondent, Mary Kanu, has the details.
These are not the best of times for the Nigerian aviation industry, as foreign exchange volatility and high cost of jet fuel has caused an unprecedented level of economic setback. But beyond this, the rising spate of insecurity in the nation's transport sector is another cause for worry.
I would like to appeal to Nigerians. As long as our security architecture, which is more of a manual policing than IT-based policing, you have to bear with us.
At this meeting, industry experts and stakeholders have advised the government to do away with the analog level of security and go digital.
We need to wake up. There is no point for us to still be doing stop and search on our roads. It is obsolete. We need to, it's just a question of installing a scanner by Ajao Estate. As your vehicle is driving through, the scanner scans everything. If there is any equipment, any weapon, any bomb, it will tell those people in front that so-so vehicle number, stop it.
We have a lot of information going out that doesn't need to be in the media. This is not saying there should be nothing in the media, but there are so many issues that it's needless for them to go and be in the media, because did you talk to the agency that's responsible? No. The work of the citizens, passengers, intending passengers, experts, professionals, non-fan personnel, non-NCA people, everyone has a function. That's why they say security is everyone's business.
While lamenting the unbearably high cost of operations and domestic airlines going out of business, stakeholders say funding is necessary to provide security.
Terrorists they have power over us. They have time to plan. They have a lot of money, access to funds, and they're ready to die. We don't want to die. We don't have money, and then we don't have time.
We need to deploy technology at every level of layers of security. When technology does the job, your toll collecting may not affect what you're supposed to do. We've said to you, Nigeria, develop your own. If you develop your own, you reduce the pressure on your dollar.
With foreign airlines decrying the inability to repatriate funds running into millions of dollars, the stakeholders have also urged the federal government to support local airlines with the requisite capacity for foreign trips. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
As part of measures to address sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV in Nigeria, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, in collaboration with Ford Foundation, have organized its annual dialogue and peer-led forum for community gatekeepers. The event is intended to foster collaborations with SGBV prevention, response and service delivery effectiveness amongst community gatekeepers, with the focus directly targeted at religious, traditional and women leaders. Concerns and challenges pertaining to SGBV were lighted as stakeholders advocated a practical approach in enacting already existing laws.
If somebody don't understand there is a law against female genital mutilation, it's part of the social norms that they believed in. It's part of the things they practice. So, but if they know that there is a law and you educate them the implications of not abiding by that law, and they can see that this law can actually bite, you will see that everybody will sit up, engaging the community, simplify this law in their language. After all, we have the Bible simplified in local languages. We have the Quran simplified in whatever languages. And here we are talking about the laws that guide the people and they don't know. So I think that's the way to go about it.
What FIDA is encouraging is partnership with our traditional rulers, with our religious leaders, and our gatekeepers in our various communities. Because for us to end gender-based violence, you know that the traditional rulers, particularly when they name something as a taboo, it remains a taboo.
Ultimately, we need leaders of faith and culture in rural areas, even in urban areas, who would say that in this community, we will not condone gender-based violence until we have such a movement and champions like that who are seen as figureheads in those communities who will probably never be able to eradicate gender-based violence.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come. Super Eagles maintain 31st position in latest FIFA World Ranking. Details of the story and more right after this break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The chairman of the Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Erowa, has warned Nigerians not to travel to northern Cyprus. Speaking to State House correspondents in Abuja on Thursday, Dabiri-Erowa said there is little the federal government can do to diplomatically resolve issues in the territory because northern Cyprus is not recognized by the international community except Turkey. He also told you that the Joint Union Congress of the Police Service Commission has issued a notice of indefinite strike to the management of the Commission over a breach of agreement. The union said the strike will commence with effect from Monday, August the 29th, 2022. But in case you missed any of our news bulletins, for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. The Oyo State government has commenced the disbursement of grants and loans to small-scale businesses under the World Bank-assisted project codenamed NG Cares. The presentation of dummy checks to the beneficiary business owners was done in Ibadan on Wednesday by the Commissioner for Budgets and Planning, Musbau Babatunde, as well as the Director General, Oyo State Investment Public-Private Partnership Agency. The World Bank Group maintained that it is taking broad, fast action to help developing countries strengthen their pandemic response, increase disease surveillance, improve public health interventions, and help the private sector continue to operate and sustain jobs. The former UK Finance Minister Rishi Sunak, one of the two candidates vying to be Britain's next Premier, has criticised the way outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson handled the COVID-19 pandemic. He said it had been a mistake to empower scientists and that the downsides of lockdowns were suppressed. Sunak also disclosed that he was banned from discussing the trade-offs of imposing coronavirus-related restrictions such as missed doctors' appointments and NHS waiting list backlogs. Sunak's remarks came a few days after he praised British scientists and pledged to set up a multi-billion-pound research program if he became Prime Minister after the exclusion of British scientists from EU funding. We'll take another break and return with more stories in business. Just stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. 2 of us.
Thank you very much, officer.
You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend, hey.
Which came out with this one? I don't understand. You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. And in business, Shell PLC, ExxonMobil Corporation, Chevron and Equinor have disclosed plans to withdraw multi-billion-dollar lawsuits against Nigeria's state energy company after finalizing new terms for deepwater oil production in Africa's largest crude producer. The move came 10 days after the firms renewed leases with the federal government and production sharing contracts with the NNPC for the permits at the heart of long-running dispute over the allocation of crude. In letters to two New York federal judges on August the 22nd, the oil majors said they had agreed to settle with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company and will terminate ongoing litigation once the new arrangements take effect. Well, we'll take a break here and return with a review of the stock market. Just stay with us. Nigerian equities market sentiment improved further on Thursday as banks' half-year results continue to drive buy interest in selected stocks. The markets grew by 10% while investors booked an additional gain of 532 billion naira. Now the all-share index and capitalization also increased to 49,661 basis points and 26 trillion naira respectively. Topping the league of gainers are Computer Warehouse Group and Capitan Offshore Support Group, each one adding 20 kobo and 9 kobo each, amounting to a combined gain of 3 naira 46 kobo. Inversely, Mutual Benefits Assurance and Honeywell Flour Mill are the top decliners, recording a combined loss of 3 naira. Thursday's trading saw 104 listed equities share a total of 226 million volume of shares, valued at over 2 billion naira in 3,515 deals. Now, on the global scene, stock futures pointed to a higher open on Thursday following a positive preceding trading day. So our select global stocks see UK's FTSE, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei all in good shape. Well, definitely in the boost territory. Investors are eager for clues on what the Federal Reserve will do at its meeting next month in its fight against inflation. That's it on the stock market review. And on the foreign scene, Russia's President Vladimir Putin has signed a decree to increase the size of Russia's armed forces from 1.9 million to 2.04 million as the war in Ukraine enters its 7th month. The decree is part of the country's aim to replenish its military, which has suffered heavy losses in Ukraine and failed to achieve its objective to capture the capital, Kyiv. Although Thursday's decree did not specify how the increase in headcount to be conducted, the government has been ordered to assign the appropriate budget to the military. And now in sport, three-time African champions, the Super Eagles have maintained the 31st position in the latest monthly ranking released by the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA. According to the ranking table published on FIFA verified page on Thursday, the Jose Pesero side maintained their 1,504 garnered points in July. In top sport, Brazil have overtaken Belgium to become the new world's best footballing nation, while Argentina and France occupy the third and fourth position in the ranking. On the continental level, they are still placed fourth behind Senegal, Morocco and Tunisia. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogorinde. Bye for now.